Hello, I'm Matthew from Ludobox, and today I'm going to give you an overview of Scythe. So Scythe is an expansion game. It's a big game, big heavy game for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up. You can play with one player because there is a solo mode and it plays for around 2 hours in any case. So Scythe is an expansion game, a conquest game, set in a world that has mechas. So it's kind of a steampunk game, but with Slavic roots, because you play in Polonia or Russia or Crimea. So you play as a faction. You start on your side of the world, and you're going to expand. And what you want to do is basically improve your popularity, because it is going to help you score more points by doing achievements, which are stars, controlling areas, which are these hex tiles, and also by acquiring and keeping resources on the board, because the resources don't get in a supply, they get in your board, on your board, sorry. So you have 2-player boards, one which is totally related to your faction and one which is generic and that has randomized actions. Everyone will have the same actions, but not in the same order, not with the same costs. So it's kind of different every time you play because you have a different combination. Also worthy to note, you're going to have a few cards, you have a few different starts, and you're going to play actions in a very limited way. So the way it works is that you have on your board, you have like 4 actions, 4 sections of the board, and you're going to activate one every turn. On the first turn, you can choose any of them. On subsequent turns, you, for example, if I played this one, on the next turn I have to play another. So, for example, I should play this one, but I cannot do this one twice in a row. So the way you perform an action is simply by executing the things that are listed. So the green things are the things that you're going to do, and the red things are the costs that the action has. So, for example, we have a few things, and we have a primary action on the top and a secondary action on the bottom row. And this is very important because this secondary action is optional, but it's very strong. So the basic actions, we have 4 of them. So military support, which allows you to gain in military influence. So you have your token. You also can draw cards, which are trump cards that have extra values. You have production. So if you do production, your meeples will be able to produce. So they can produce wheat, wood. They could also produce oil on tundra, and they can produce iron on mountains. And if you are in a village, you also can produce other meeples, which is very important to expand. You have movement, sorry, so you can move around and get around, maybe attack other players. And finally, you have trade. Trade enables you to get resources that you can't usually get, or to improve popularity at the cost of money, which is also victory points in the game. And on the top of that, you have your secondary action. So the secondary action has a cost, and the cost is very high at the beginning. It's normal, and it gets weaker. Well, the cost gets smaller and smaller because you are going to improve your action. So let me explain that. So you can do a secondary action. For example, this one enables me to pay 3 iron from the board, from areas I control, to place 1 mech. So the mechs are the minis, the plastic minis, and they unlock special abilities such as river traversal, more movement, or special abilities like special combat abilities, which is very important. You can also improve your actions. So for example, if I activate this one, improvement lets me take 1 cube from my top row, freeing 1 green slot and putting that cube on a cost on the bottom line. So it means that this action, instead of producing 2 resources, will allow me to produce a max of 3 resources, and this improvement action will cost me only 2 oil instead of 3, which is very good. So I could cover all of those and have actions at a fraction of the cost. We also can build buildings. So we have a monument which gives popularity every time we perform this action, a mill which allows to produce more resources, a mine which allows you to move to other mines, and finally an arsenal that lets you get more and more military power. And finally, we have the recruitment action. So the recruitment action is very important. It allows you to remove those recruits, the cylinders here, and to place them on our board for a tiny bonus. But the most important thing with them is that every time someone performs a secondary action, so for example, every time someone enrolls a recruit, you get a special bonus if you have recruited and if the thing is free here. So for example, I could draw a free card every time someone recruits, gain 1 popularity every time someone builds something. So this is very important because it kind of trickles down and gets you more bonuses. So why expand and explore? First, it's a source of victory points, and second, there are plenty of things to do in the world of Scythe. So the first thing that we can do with our minis, like units, we can explore with the hero. So the hero is the one with beautiful sculpt. So if you go and end your movement phase on this token, you remove it, draw an encounter card, read the situation, so it's an image, and on the picture you have, well, it depicts the situation, and you have 3 outcomes. So you choose to help people, to enroll people. So you might get a variety of effects for a cost, obviously. Some of them are free, some of them are not that free, but it's always interesting. And then you discard the card when it's done, and it cannot be explored again. So you may want to move around. So as I told you, every faction is a bit different. So for example, this one has the choice of choosing 2 outcomes instead of 1. But it's a tiny example. Every faction has different ways to twist the rules. There are the mines, so mines communicate, and finally there is the plant, the factory. So the factory is this mystical thing in which, well, people have built strange contraptions, and these strange contraptions can be acquired for as an action. So you get a 5th action, which is different, which has different costs. And this one, for example, would give you 2 popularity at the cost of 1 military power, which is very weird and very good at the same time. And also it lets you move very fast. So you have a lot of different actions, which are all very interesting. And you have a 5th action, which is always a great possibility to have. Additionally, you can fight. So for example, if we fight like this on this mine, we can we will take these wheels, these combat wheels, which are numbered 0 to 7, and secretly everyone will choose how much power they will spend with this wheel. And power, military power, is on this track. So if I choose to spend 7 power, it's very strong, but I'm going to spend them and be spent, basically. Also, each plastic unit may play a card like this from his owner's hands. So, for example, this one is 2, this one is 4, so it adds military power without having to spend it. So it's a very precious resource as well. We are going to reveal that at the same time, so no one knows what anyone has played, and then we reveal everything. So the outcome of a fight is very important because fights are one way to put stars on the board. So stars are achievements that you get. You have 6 of them, and if you win a fight, you are able to place a star on this star board here. So there are a variety of ways to place them. You can place stars if you build your full mix, recruit your 4 recruits, place your 8 peasant meeples, do your objective, and so on and so forth. But they are very important because they are a very important source of victory points and because they trigger the end game. So if you place all of your stars, you start the end game and you start counting points. So as I told you, popularity is very important because it will measure how well you score. For example, if you are in the lower tier, every star will be worth 1 point, and if you are in the upper tier, every star will be worth 5 points, which is considerably better. And additionally, every goal that you have is 1 point, and you have a small tiny objective here, which is for everyone, so it can give money or victory points, but it will give victory points in the end. Well, you know almost everything about Scythe, so now see you on Ludobox. Bye bye!